Hey, Scotty, come on up here, man.
Come on up here, Scotty.
Let's talk about post
Here you go, sir. Post
the
94.
post 93 season. We had a couple of rocky seasons there, Scotty. Your senior year, I think we went 6-4, and we missed the. I was a junior. I was a year
between.
Yeah. I was a sophomore. I started as a sophomore. So your year, we lost Newt. Game 1 against Burgh.
So funny story there. We're walking beforehand because maybe it's all the years that I was with Sam, but before a game, I couldn't eat, I couldn't talk, I would just walk. And Newt and I are out walking the field before that game, and I said to him, I said, Newt, could you imagine getting hurt your senior year and not being able to play?
No, you didn't.
And Newt looks at me. So Newt, if you're watching, hopefully you remember. He looks at me, he goes, "Don't talk like that. That'll never happen."
Man.
Oh no!
2 quarters later, and he's looking at me on the sidelines, and I'm going, "I hope to God I didn't just cause that."
Oh my goodness!
But we were depleted.
Yes.
Compared to, there was a big drop that next year after you guys graduated your senior year. Then you go to the next year where it's even
Your coaching
less.
Staff,
and thank God Newt was there, and you and Ben were there, so we had depth on all the lines that we needed.
Yeah.
We didn't have the skill set. And Justin Jones, God bless him, gave every bit of what he had that year. But Justin Jones wasn't Newt.
No.
The same way that I wasn't Joey Hargraves, or or you weren't Ty Moyes, or it was a different group. So that was a hard season, but Coach, the difference there, and I love Wiz. Wiz gave me my first coaching job.
Yeah,
I was able to help, in 97 and 98. And, but the discipline was different.
It was different.
And it was hard.
I was very and Wiz is a good friend of mine, and you know that. But I was at Freeport, and my first year at Freeport, we scrimmaged Valley.
Yep.
I don't want to scrimmage Valley, right? And they had Mikey Martin.
Yep. I was coaching there.
Yeah.
He was coaching.
Yep.
And,
We went to that game 1.
Well, after the game, after the scrimmage, we feed both teams.
Mm-hmm.
And Mikey and them came up with tank tops on and do-rags.
I remember.
And I told him, hey, take that shit off and go get a shirt on. And Wiz come over and said, this is not your team. I said, those are my kids.
Man.
And they will not dress like that and walk in here like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a big argument because, again, it wasn't my team. But
There was a
and I understand where he was coming from. But I was so disappointed. Like, I was like, are you kidding me?
Yep.
So, I understand that. And again, that not to slight him, but
no,
it
Wiz
bothered me.
Wiz, and I tell you, Wiz loved like you loved.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
quit college my sophomore year, and I run into his wife at the bank. I'm working down at the bank at the New Ken Giant Eagle, and she says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I quit college, so I took a job with Mellon Bank." And 10 minutes later, the phone rings at the bank, and I could hear the Copenhagen in the phone, as if you knew Wiz. And he goes, "Young man," and I said, "Oh," I said, "What's up, Coach?" He goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well," I explained what I'm doing. And he goes, "So you'll be at practice tomorrow?" And I'm like, "The hell am I going to do at practice?" He goes, "You're coaching." And I go, no, I'm not going to coach. I said, I'm at the bank. There's a lot. He goes, "You're going to coach and you're going to be here." So I coach. A couple of years later, I decided to go back to school for education. And I get hired at Highlands. And I get a call in my classroom from another guy. And he goes, "Hey, I hear you got hired here." I go, "I did." He goes, "You're coaching." And I go, so my coaching career, and now it's 30 years in,
wow,
is because of the 2 coaches that impacted my life.
So dope.
So
That's so dope.
Yeah,
Awesome. So we're going to fast forward from my senior year because it was an abject disaster. We started off 1-4. There was a lot of personnel issues and what have you. But we ain't going to talk about that. I want to talk about 1997.
97,
okay?
97.
Because there was. So if we're going to talk about anything about my senior year, is that it was the end of the year because we finished 5-4, And in those last 4 games, we won by a combined score of 168-0.
Mm.
We shut everybody all the way the hell out. And I've talked to some of the underclassmen like Melvin and Scott Huckabee and Marco Taliani and Juice
man, we had some
and
man,
Beeve and all those guys.
Stevie,
And
yeah.
they would and they said that it was that ending of the season that built the momentum to go into the next season, which created an undefeated season.
That's true. And that's what
And
it
the
was.
only
That's exactly
undefeated
what it was.
season in
Yes, it
Valley
was.
history
Yes, sir.
with the
Yeah,
1990,
we went 9-0.
class of 97.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and that was,
Absolutely.
and that's
Love.
just because, like, again, it teams like when I was a kid. I mean, I remember looking up to Harvey, my
Yeah.
brother Mike Martin. I remember going to these games, and like when I'm going to the games, I'm just like, man, like this is a different feeling. Like
Yeah.
I never played football,
Yeah.
right? My junior year was his senior year. This dude came to me in a cafeteria. And I'll never forget it. Never forget it. He's like, "You're playing football." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like in my mind, I like basketball. You couldn't tell me it wasn't Patrick Ewing. I love basketball. Played for Tom Myers for like 1 season, then that was it. And this dude came to me. He was like, "No, you're playing. You're gonna sign this paper. You're not gonna quit. This is a contract that you're signing." I'm like, "Gang, for real?"
Well, damn.
I signed it. Yeah, true story, true story, true story. So I signed it, got to practice. Now I'm going against Ben Cobb, Kevin, Craig, Justin. I mean, that team itself, your
Yeah.
team itself,
Yeah.
like what y'all was doing, I loved it. And I started so late, but I made sure I carried it into the next season, my senior year.
Yeah.
And that time we got to that senior year, man, we was dogs. We was
Yeah.
dogs. Like I said, that's because the birth of the Harveys, the Chris Martins, the Gabes, like
Yeah.
y'all birthed us.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? That makes
Yeah.
sense. Y'all birthed us.
Yeah.
So that's the mentality I was going into with that season.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, we was playing Katanning. I'll never forget it. We had to get escorted out of Katanning. I'll never forget it.
No
we
way.
yes. We was down by 2 points in Katanning. We was in Katanning, right? We're in Katanning. And Steve Lazinski, right? He said, "Melvin, can you sort of?" He was like, "Listen, I need you to move your fucking ass. We're playing. We're doing 25 blast X. We're coming your way.
Yep.
I need you to move this fucking line." This is what he
Yep.
says to me. I'm like,
Yep.
"Damn, all right, got you."
Coming down.
Now
that
Brandon,
down block.
Brand,
baby.
you know,
Yeah.
Brandon's the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, I
Bread and
cleared
That's
that
bread
whole,
and butter.
dog. That was my bread and butter. I loved it.
Yeah.
Cleared the whole line, right? So then all of a sudden we get to everybody's on the field rushing us. Everybody is celebrating. Coach White was like, "Let's get the fuck out of here." We had to literally get escorted out of there. Like it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I just remember that. I remember that was
Yeah.
the best feel. I'll never forget that.
Cool. Hey,
Man.
the
yeah.
coolest part
Katanning with
about
shenanigans.
Melvin's year was that they only had 30 kids.
30-30.
They were
That's
called,
right.
and they were
30-30.
called the Dirty 30.
man. 30-30.
It was
Coach TC,
unreal.
Coach White, man. 30-30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We made
Brandon,
shirts and everything. That was a special group, man.
It was a special group. Speak on that.
Special group.
Yeah, real quick before we speak
go
on that, that is definitely a special group
Yeah.
considering, there's other schools that, saying, we only have 26 players. We want to do the mercy rule, all that stuff.
Yes.
Right.
The fact that you guys have 30,
Yeah.
you got a nickname, the Dirty
Yeah, the
30.
Dirty
Like,
30.
we're hunkering
Yeah,
down
yeah,
and we're going to this
yeah,
together.
Yeah. And
And,
that's
and
what it
let's-
was.
let's
mindset.
make it clear.
And that-
This was 30 kids in 3A
in
Yeah.
triple
when
A.
there were
in
only
AAA.
four
Four.
classifications.
Absolutely,
Is
yeah,
what it wasn't
absolutely.
6.
Yeah.
There was only
There
4
was
at the
only
time.
4.
And I can
Only
tell
And
you-
they went undefeated in
Yeah.
3. That's unreal.
I know.
That's called brotherhood.
I was about to say that because when we did the 30-30, we were so close. We never gave up on each other.
Yeah.
Never. No matter what nobody was going through, no matter what we was going through, we never gave up on each other. You know what I mean? We was like a family. And that just goes back, when I say family, I just think about, and it's so crazy, I just thought about it this day. So 72 years ago today, my father became the first black quarterback, right?
Wow.
I just thought about that, right? 72 years ago today, October 18th, 1953.
Wow.
Now, when I say family from all
Let's
these
go.
different teams and brotherhood, I think about that team, right? That team in 1946, 1945, 1949, that when he graduated, that team, now mind you, there was only 2 blacks, Flint Green and my brother and my dad. The
Wow.
only 2 blacks on that team, right?
Wow.
Now, mind you, in 1946, they got invited to the Peanut Bowl, right?
Mm.
It was down south. When they found out my father was black, they pulled the invitation.
No way.
So guess what the player said? Coach Fletcher, to this day, one of the greatest coaches of WPIAL I'll ever say, all through Halley, he says, if Willie can't go, none of us can't go. All the players did not go because they pulled the invitation from my father because they found out he was black.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
that was 1946. So that's what I'm saying. It was a brotherhood. That's what
Brotherhood.
they were. That was a brotherhood. And it just carried to, you know what I'm saying? And that's the mentality I always had, you know what I mean? Because they did that back then, and these guys were still friends then, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Until
Yes.
they went on and passed, you know what I mean? So that's what my mentality was. And that's why I said the bond that we had at Dirty 30, it just goes back from different teams of different, generations that I was part of and
That's
seen.
incredible.
That's
Yeah,
powerful.
absolutely.
You know
yeah.
what's funny about that is we talk about the talent of you guys. When Billy, when you were there, and Joe, you were there. That Dirty 30 team is not a talent
Yeah.
like you guys had.
Yeah.
It was more similar to your senior year,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
a lot of great. I mean, Mel, you
Yeah.
were big,
Yeah.
You
yeah,
were
yeah,
strong,
yeah,
That was
yeah,
about
and
Yeah.
but you were raw.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Right,
weren't
absolutely,
polished
absolutely.
at that
Yeah.
point.
Jack George.
Jack
another
George.
guy.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
forgot
that
about
was his
Jack
first-
George. That's
first
right. That
and
was his
only
first
year.
year because he played basketball.
Yep.
It really
Right.
personified.
That's right.
Truthfully, it really personified
That's right.
Valley of the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it was just gritty
Yeah.
and nasty, and you were
Yeah.
going to bleed for your brother.
That was it.
And that's
That
what
was
that
it.
team
That was
was.
it. Yeah, that
That's
was
what
it.
that
dope.
team was.
I want to say something real quick. I mean, this is for anybody that's watching that is not a member of our high school. Are you seeing a commonality here?
Mm.
The brotherhood,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
togetherness, hard work.
Yep.
We're no excuses,
Nope.
right? You bleed together, you work
Yeah.
together, and you overcome together. And it started. Obviously it started with Coach A with when I came in as a
Right.
sophomore. We had some of that, my ninth grade year, but then it's bleeding, and then through all of us, through Gabe and through Scott, who was here after me,
Yeah.
to Melvin,
Right.
everybody. This 90s, this 92 to 98 year,
Yeah,
these
Unreal.
years,
that's true.
there's a commonality here, and
Yeah.
it does not. It's really a commonality of the success we've also had too.
Yeah.
In my 3 years, 27, 5-1. That's
Yeah.
pretty good, and obviously it continued.
Right.
Even though above 500 records, winning
Yeah.
records, undefeated.
Right.
but-
right.
The message is the same.
It's the same. It's the same.
It
yeah.
started in the early 90s, and it kept going through the late 90s.
And see,
It's the
thing,
mindset of all of us
that's
today,
true.
right?
And that's the thing, because when I was a kid, I used to watch them.
Right.
You know what I mean? I used to watch Harvey, Joey, Chris Martin. I'm in 7th, 6th grade looking at these dudes like Coach A. Like I always thought he was just like the God of coaches.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like in
Yep.
my mind, you know what I
Yep.
mean? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Get a t-shirt.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? So, I'm young and I'm seeing this. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I'm just
man.
like, man, like these dudes is somebody, these dudes I look up to. So I mean, like you said, it's a brotherhood, it's a carry on. It just carries on from generation to generation. And that's what it does, man. That's-
100%.
New Kensington's a special
Oh,
place.
absolutely.
It sure
It's
is.
a special
So you spoke about your father.
Yes.
And that's we talked about the stars aligning earlier
Right.
today.
Yeah.
Right. And the stars align once again with
Yes.
this,
Yes.
So talk about the foundation that
Yes.
Okay.
you have created in his honor. Talk about that a little
So
bit.
in 2020, myself, my mother, my brother Willie, we did the Willie Thrower Award Foundation,
Mhm.
and we started it, and we have some great committee members, man. Great. I mean, we couldn't do this without the committee that we have. We really couldn't. And this is going into our 6th year,
Awesome.
So we made an award, in almost like the Heisman Trophy. That's how I think of it. The Heisman. It's a prestigious award like the Heisman Trophy. And it goes out to the best WPIAL quarterback in the WPLL. And what's so great about it, we don't pick it. We have no control of people like, man, how come we don't control nothing? So what it is we got coaches through the WPLL and we have sports writers through the WPL.
Mm.
They come up with the list and they come up with the finalists. And what's so great about the award, there's no losers. They're all finalists.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, somebody has to win.
Yes. Yes.
And with that, we came with the Willie Thrower quarterback camp, where last year we had about 80 kids last year.
Wow.
Now these kids don't
Fantastic.
they don't pay for nothing. They get a jacket, they get a shirt, they get a gym bag, and this is our 5th year doing that. And then we got the Willie Thrower parade for homecoming for Valley. And
Very
piggyback
nice.
off the quarterback camp, the furthest kid that we had last year, he came from Ohio, Cleveland.
Mm.
That's how far he came from. He
Good.
came from Cleveland. Yes, Coach A. Yes, Coach A always brings his
Yeah.
he brings the receivers down. You know, because of course we need receivers to
Yeah,
throw with
sure.
these quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
So Coach A is always, you know, participating, bringing kids down. And I would have never thought this would be this big.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
You know, because we're talking about somebody that not only broke the barrier, but he's from New Kent.
Yes.
And it goes
Yes.
back to showing that, just think about it, in 45, he was a running back. Coach Fletcher gave him an opportunity.
Wow.
So when you get an opportunity, no matter if you're black, you're white, you're a male, you're a female, just give it an opportunity,
Yes.
you can do great things with it. So in 1946, he became the quarterback because Coach Fletcher wanted to run the wing team offense.
Mm.
He wanted to run that offense. He said, Willie, I need you to run this offense. I'm giving you a shot to be the quarterback. So from 46 to 47, they won 24 games straight in a row.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that's off of opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes,
mean? So,
yes.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, and with that, like I got so many kids coming up to me, and I even speak at the schools, you know, at Roy
Yeah.
Hunt, you know, every February I speak to them.
Yeah.
And I would have never thought it would have got this big, you know, because this is somebody that I remember when Doug Williams won the Super Bowl, and my dad was crying like he had a shed tear. And I'm looking, I'm like, man, why is he crying? Because at the time I never knew.
Yeah.
Because he was real humble. He never, you know, never bragged, boast. That's who he was. So I remember and I remember him whispering.
It's
saying,
crazy how that
yeah,
how
he
the,
never-
the goats had the same mentality,
he just,
right?
he never did. He never
Yep.
did. And I remember him saying, finally.
Mm.
But one day they'll know my name.
Wow.
I'll
Wow.
never forget it, man. I was a kid. So whatever year that Doug Williams won the Super Bowl,
87.
87, 86,
okay,
87.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A tear came down his eye, you know what I
Yep.
mean? And he said, finally, one day they'll know who I am.
Wow.
You know, because like I said, his home, nobody believed him. Nobody believed him.
Yeah.
You know? So can you imagine you accomplished something, you broke history and made history, and that nobody
Nobody was
believed?
even.
We're talking about somebody that backed up George Blanda. We're talking about somebody, his coach was George Hollis. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So we're talking about him and George Blanda were best friends. They would ride together on away games, you know, on a bus. They were best friends, you know what I mean? But you know, just to even hear stories like that, and
That's
being
dope.
72 years today that he became the first black
Dude.
quarterback. And I just thought about that, just being up here, just thinking
Dude.
about football. But
That's amazing.
I just got chills again.
yeah, it's
Mel, I don't know if you know how big it is. You know, fortunate to coach at Armstrong a couple years ago. And
I know what you're gonna say.
two stories here, one for Sam, but Caden Olsen
Caden
won it
Olsen,
2
back to
years in a
back,
row.
back to back, back to back.
And that was something that springboarded him to Penn, you know, and
Really?
and he was tremendous there, but that notoriety was
Really?
huge for him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
McGregor, they
Yeah.
come down for that banquet,
Okay.
and Frank Fabian, who's the Armstrong coach,
Mm-hmm.
McGregor was on the staff at the time. They're sitting there going, you know, they're sweating it because they don't know if he's got a chance. And McGregor looks at Frank and goes,
yeah,
it's New Ken.
yeah, yeah.
He got the
he
award.
got it.
You know,
Yeah,
and
he
Frank
got it.
goes,
Yeah.
what are you talking
Yeah.
about? Then when he
Yeah.
called his name, he
Yeah.
goes, okay, McGregor has some ties in New Ken.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
And I go,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
he didn't.
yeah,
He didn't get that
yeah,
fixed,
yeah, yeah.
but it holds a lot of
Yeah.
validity now in the WPIAL.
The great thing
It's
about
held
Caden, he won back to back, and he was so like, I mean, he comes back even for the years for the quarterback camp.
great.
You know, he's a great kid, great family, and he wanted the award. When he won an award so bad, he wanted a duplicate of it.
Yeah,
He wanted another one. So the guy that created the award is actually from New Kent, Stephen Pavlovich.
yeah.
He went to Valley from New Kent. He did the statue and he did the trophy. So we got in contact with Stephen and his Caden's dad, and they wanted to make another trophy, the one he had, because he wouldn't let it go.
Well, I don't want to celebrate
Yeah.
him too much
Okay.
because I was the OC at Highlands
Oh,
the year that he won
okay.
that game against us, and that
Yeah.
probably springboarded.
Yeah.
But no, Caden was great, and the award is huge,
appreciate it.
and
Thank
it
you.
is held with high regard
Absolutely.
across the WPIAL. It truly
Absolutely.
is.
Thank
Truly is.
Unreal.
Thank you.